this live stream. I will be continuing on this live stream until he breaks the record, and he will break this record. I have no doubt in my mind. I have covered Senator Booker for a long time. I've had the privilege of meeting with and speaking to Senator Booker, and I know that this guy is as determined as anybody to be able to do this. So when he sets his mind to something, he's going to accomplish it. What we're seeing right now is he is allowed to yield the floor for questions without without ending his filibuster. So you will hear him as this process continues to play itself out. You'll hear him basically say that that he's yielding the floor for a question, but he doesn't yield his position answering these questions. He doesn't yield his filibuster. He won't end his filibuster. So the benefit obviously of having some of his colleagues be able to ask him some questions is I presume that he can take a moment to take a sip of water or do whatever he needs to do so that he can stand up. But look, in a moment where it is so difficult to own the news cycle because so much shit is happening on a daily basis, this is a way that he can break through and get some and cause what he himself called some good trouble and make sure that people are paying attention to his message. And a really good way to get people to pay attention to your message is if you're delivering it in the middle of a record-breaking filibuster. So again, as I mentioned before, we are 18 and a half hours in. I will continue to cover this throughout the day because I think it's worth covering. We will go full screen on Senator Booker because he deserves the recognition and his words deserve the platform that I've built here. So I'm going to go full on him, but top line is good on Senator Booker for getting into good trouble, good on Senator Booker for using the limited resources that we have, the limited power that Democrats have in the minority to actually break through this news cycle, and good on him for standing up, literally and figuratively, standing up for what he believes in, what is right, and exposing the corruption and dangers of this administration. So let's go full on Senator Booker and hear what he has to say.
And I thank you for speaking up for them today.
If the senator would yield for another question.
I yield for a question while retaining the floor.
President Trump and the Secretary of HHS, Secretary Kennedy, are, as I indicated and made you aware, they are firing a host of people today. But the critical staff functions will be undercut. For example, the Low-Income Energy Assistance Program and the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. They will focus on worker safety. LIHEAP, as you know, provides essential support to literally keep people warm in the winter and cool in the summer in our southern states. And with LIHEAP undercut like that, there will be effects. People will become unhealthy, in fact, possibly couldn't even pass away and perish. NIOSH, on the other, is an agency that looks after 164 million people in this country so they're safe. And we all know, we all remember back all those stories about the Gilded Age, which sometimes I think the administration wants to bring back, where children labored in shops, where garment workers were killed in fires because there was no way to get out. All the exits were sealed. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health prevents that. And work-related industries, injuries and illnesses cost our economy about $250 billion annually. So that will double, triple, quadruple.
By the way, for those just tuning in,
and we're seeing
I know that we have
all
a
sorts
bunch of
of
people who
reports
just
about
tuned in. Right now, Cory Booker is
the National
approaching
Center
hour
for
19,
Injury Prevention and
hour
Control at
19,
CDC. They do
standing,
critical
talking,
work.
not
They're under the
stopping.
gun.
The record
We're
is
seeing reports that the
24
director
hours
of the
and 18
FDA
minutes.
Center for
And
Tobacco
again, I mentioned this
Products
before,
has been fired. We can see that
But Strom Thurmond, who is like an avowed opponent to the Civil Rights Act, he currently holds the record. This is back in the 1950s. I believe it was like 1950. let's see, 1957. The longest filibuster lasted for 24 hours and 18 minutes. And so the significance of Cory Booker doing this right now is not important just in the context of being able to use what limited power, what limited platform we have to oppose this administration, but it's significant because Cory Booker is a champion for civil rights, and he's going to break the record that is currently held by someone who is a staunch opponent of civil rights. That counts for something. That matters here. And so you will see people like this like Cory Booker's colleagues that are using the opportunity to ask him questions. These guys and these colleagues are helping him in a big way because it gives him the opportunity to take a sip of water, probably eat some food or candy or whatever he needs to keep him going, but it gives him a little bit of a reprieve so he can yield to his colleagues while not giving up his filibuster. And so Chris Murphy was with him throughout the night and helping him by asking some questions and keeping him going. But man, I think it's important because all we have right now are people that are showing that they are up for the fight in whatever venues we have it. And those avenues are limited, obviously. But Booker is using what power he has, optimizing for the media environment that we're in, knowing that it's not enough to just make a floor speech. 10-minute floor speech, come and go. Hopefully it gets some views on Twitter and on YouTube, and that's it. Knowing full well that you have to make a splash to be able to break through in this media environment when all this shit is going on, this is him understanding this media environment and doing it for a virtuous reason, and doing it at a time where people are desperate to see their elected officials do something. So, as a born and raised, well, not born, but raised New Jerseyan, I'm proud to see the senator from New Jersey, as he calls it, getting into some good trouble today. So again, I'm gonna go full screen on Booker, and I think it's important to hear what he has to say. For those who are asking, we are almost 19 hours in to what I presume will be a roughly 25-hour filibuster. So let's give him the attention, give him the props, and you can call his office, you can email his office, let him know that you approve of what he's doing, let him know that you're grateful for taking the opportunity to shine a light on the things that he's talking about here.
For closing in on 19 hours, I go back to what are we going to do about it? It can't be business as usual. There are too many things we've already covered that show that this is a moral moment in America. Where do we stand? It's time, as John Lewis, as I keep repeating, he says it's time to get into good trouble, necessary trouble, to redeem the soul of our nation. And when you're talking about, goes directly to the soul, what do we stand for? Who do we stand for? We should stand for each other. Thank you, sir.
Will the senator from New Jersey yield for a question?
To my dear friend, I yield for a question while retaining the floor, and I thank you for being here. I thank you for your leadership. I thank you for what you stand for, and I look forward to your question.
Well, I so appreciate the senator from New Jersey trying to articulate the urgency of this moment. And I think that I know you've discussed many things in the last, I don't know how many hours it is, but it's been many, many hours. And, we just had a hearing this morning related to the markup of the Social Security nominee. And we're just trying to find out because a whistleblower said that he was involved in helping Doge. And we're here today trying to bring attention to the American public that people are trying to rearrange essential services, contractual obligations, things like Social Security or Medicaid or even Medicare, by basically saying, well, we have this efficiency strategy, when in reality, they're over there with numbers just trying to carve something out of the budget, billions of dollars out of Social Security efficiency, or billions and billions and billions of dollars out of Medicaid, which would really come right out of our hospitals who are saying they don't even think they could stay open. But this notion of Social Security, I don't know if you've heard that not only are they closing offices and cutting jobs, they're asking people to re-register